Not much has really changed with the Tesla since I made my video on it, but I am going to make a more short and concise video of how to set up a Tesla safely and explain the very basic mechanics of it. So the Tesla requires a particle accelerator to turn on. That's pretty simple to understand. And the Tesla itself is really just a singularity, but you can make it much safer with just a little bit of setup. We're going to need some metal rods. We're going to need a stack of medium voltage cables and a stack of high voltage cables and a wrench, and that's all we need. Also, we need to actually bring the Tesla outside, which is right here. Like any normal setup, we're going to bring the Tesla engine right to the center, or the generator, sorry, not the engine. And you don't even have to wrench it in place. We could just leave it there to save time. Now we're going to take 4 rods and just place them like this. And the reason for that is we're going to move the containment field generators right to the middle, surrounding the generator as tightly as possible in a square. Once you've got all 4 in place, make sure you just simply left click each one. You want to see the little blue light in the bottom right. I'm just going to toggle the lights here so you can see what I'm doing a little bit easier. Now you just want to run your high voltage cables off to the sides here like so. Ideally, you would want to actually make a full loop, but it isn't required. The reason why you're doing a full loop is safer in case somebody snips a wire. You don't want the Tesla to stop providing power. So you could easily just go get another stack of HV cables. They're plentiful, and just connect them like this. That way, if somebody snips a single wire, they have to actually take the time to come over and snip another wire. They could always just come over here and snip it, and that would definitely mess things up. But you can also choose to redundantly wire the cables over here if you wish. You could just do this and stick it through the window. That way there's multiple connections, and this is a lot harder to sabotage directly. Ideally, you want multiple connections of medium voltages and high voltages. So as you can see, there's no actual connection to medium voltages here. Also, these walls are supposed to be like that. Just ignore that. You could actually, if I toggle the subfloor, you could intentionally try to run medium voltages from here over to here, because, like I said, multiple connections is safer. Another thing that is, I think, a really good idea is actually run a substation out here. And making substations is really simple, because you can make it with substations from an autolathe. So, yeah, making substations is actually rather easy. So you could easily just stick a substation out here. And if somebody snips one of these other wires, the emitters will stay on, and you never want the emitters to turn off, because that's how Tesla loses happened. So the more redundant wiring you have, the more redundant substations you have, the longer you can keep a Tesla contained, and ideally you want to keep it contained forever. So as long as there's a substation powered out here, even if the rest of the station's power net is disrupted, they'd have to come out here directly and destroy the substation. So finishing off these reinforced walls might actually be a pretty good idea as well. I feel like people typically snip wires in the station and don't really think about actually coming out here to like destroy the emitters directly. But at that point, if they're coming here to destroy the emitters, hopefully somebody would notice by the time they do that. Anyways, now that we have the HVs set up, you would just ideally, just save time, you want to move these Tesla coils off to the side like so. So that way, when the Tesla is bouncing around in this tiny little containment, I mean, it barely moves. It will just try to shock both sides. The reason why you want to keep them separate, I think this is good, is that they take 1 point of damage every time they get struck by lightning. They have 225 health, and you can easily fix them with a welder, but you're not always going to be paying attention 100% of the time. So I think just setting it up like this makes it significantly safer overall. And of course, before we even move the emitters, there's 4 grounding rods. I'm pretty sure it's a standard for every map. I would highly recommend putting them like somewhere like here and here. And then we just want to put like that. We'll do just fine. And finally, you also want to try to keep emitters as far away as possible with the current map setup, away from the containment field generator. So this is why you need medium voltage cable as well, because you want to run the emitters as far back as possible to reduce the risk of them getting struck by any form of lightning, because if that happens, containment starts becoming a little bit more fragile. But anyways, just run the cables, move the emitters. Again, all you need for this is a wrench. And now you just want to left click each one, and then you can alt left click them to lock the emitters. That way no one without engineering access can turn them off. Turn it on, lock. And now we are good to go turn it on. All you have to do at this point is turn the particle accelerator on 1 and wait for the Tesla to actually be created. And the Tesla is created. Now we could turn this off. At this point, the safest thing you can actually do is turn off the particle accelerator entirely and dismantle it. Because the Tesla will never die without player intervention directly. So you don't need the particle accelerator anymore. Keeping it on is actually dangerous because people can overload the Tesla and make it so it shoots out miniature Tesla balls that can end up hitting something you don't want it to hit. So if we just a ghost, we can see how it wants to target. It can't leave this little box. It tries to pretty much always shoot the Tesla coils. If it can't shoot the Tesla coils, it pretty much hits the grounding rods, and the emitters are so far away that there's no chance it'll ever actually strike them. So all you have to do at this point is you can shift click the Tesla coils and see if there's any damage. And if you ever find any damage, you just simply take out any form of welding tool, turn it on, and left click it, and it'll say you repair the Tesla coil. And an interesting fact, as far as I'm aware, the grounding rods do have durability, but I don't think the lightning actually damages them. So if you have them set up right, it should theoretically stay in here even if it isn't making power, until obviously the station loses power entirely and the emitters turn off. But anyways, yeah, this is pretty much a safe Tesla setup. Just make sure you come around and repair the Tesla coils. If you have insulated gloves on, you literally have nothing to be afraid of. It takes a little bit of effort to set it up like this, but this keeps it very safe for a long time. And that's really all I got. I think it's rather simple, and thank you for watching.